com.
Let's go. Let's go. It's a Monday. Welcome in on this Reaction Monday. I'm Matt in the Bureau. That's the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. You are here. We got the whole gang. All right, so there's plenty to get into. Even though, my team, State, didn't play this weekend. They were off. All right, so we don't have that to react to. For better or for worse. The whole thing, I did have somebody at church yesterday say to me, as soon as I got in there and I sat down, was in Sunday school class, and I did have somebody say to me, well, we didn't lose. As knew that was coming. But yeah, so we don't have that. We got plenty to react to. And, what games did you watch? I am impressed with those who can watch, seemingly can watch 5, 6, 7, 8 different games in one weekend. Man, 2 to 2.5 is all I could stomach, in terms of watching the whole thing, pretty much the whole thing. So the 2 games on Saturday that I pretty much consumed pretty much all of, outside of bathroom breaks and boredom here and there, and every now and then going outside to hit golf balls. True story. Was Missouri hosting Alabama, and then Auburn, Georgia that night. And the rest, it would either be bits and pieces or seeing highlights. And so that's me. What did you watch? I would love to know. Get on in here. Yeah, it's good to be back. Missed some time last week, and I will go ahead and let you know that this is basically going to be a week off for me and for the Wyatts. It is fall break. Y'all ever heard of a fall break? I know this. When I was a kid, we never got anything close to a quote-unquote fall break. That's why spring break was such a big deal, because that's all you got. You got Christmas, and then you got spring break. But now the kids get a fall break, and so we're having a fall break for Mary Liddy out of school this week. So we're going to spend a lot of time together as a family and do some things and see some things together. So this will basically be a week off for me, because then Friday is a travel day, getting down to Gainesville, Florida on Friday. So, I know that we're coming off an open date for State, and we're heading into a big game this week and everything, but I hope you'll understand. It's like the older I get, the more and more I prioritize any opportunity to spend time, with Mary Liddy and with us all together as a family, even if it supersedes certainly football and that sort of thing. So today will be pretty much it this week for me. And then we'll head off to Gainesville this coming weekend. And then next week, everything pretty much settles back into for the remainder of the whatever, all the way up until Christmas. Of course, Thanksgiving and then Christmas. But yeah, so that's where that is. You want to text me on the Country Pleasing text line? Please do. The number to text is 885-3776. That's a 601 number, 885-3776. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best. Hands down. I had some of the original smoked sausage flavor for breakfast this morning. You can also call me on the Junction phone. That's right. The all-new Junction phone line fueled by Prince Oil Company. How I get to hear your voice. Call me. Number to call is 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. And, of course, you can comment on the live stream. Hey to you. We are live. So, hey, Sven and Blind Squirrel and Hunter and all y'all over there on the YouTube live stream, Facebook, and X as well. I'll come to your comments coming up. Now, I have to say this, and this is, I think, not only a text that's meant for me, this is also a text from White Denzel that's meant also for Beaver. There's no question. It's really meant for all of us because he used the word we. But he said, White Denzel, right out of the chutes, here today on a Reaction Monday, and the first text I get, it says, "We are so back." And it's accompanied by a picture. The picture is a box full of tasty treats displayed, I think, probably at a Walmart. Santa is on the box. And so are the pictures of those tasty treats that are inside the box that are shaped like Christmas trees. Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes are on display somewhere on October the 13th. And with that, Heidi-ho, neighbor Beaver, is it too early for this?
No. See, I feel like I have to maybe make an exception for Christmas tree cakes because they're lishy. And it's so funny. Did this just happen today? Like, did they just start putting these out today? Because the reason I ask is this morning, about 8 o'clock or so, Big L had already made a Kroger's run for the morning, and he came back and was telling me about Christmas tree cakes are out, and he already bought a box.
He bought a box?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Beav, that is fantastic. And it's really interesting to me, Beaver, that you personally, you make an exception for this sort of thing, for this one particular item. I can't think of anything else for which you have ever said, no, it's not too early. I mean, everything else you've basically said, yes, too early. Christmas music before or after, before Thanksgiving or after Christmas, that's a no-go, right? Don't I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Halloween candy before October, non-starter, right?
Right.
But Christmas tree cakes on October the 13th, not only yes, but sure, Dad, bring in a box into the house.
Well, but I'm torn. See, that's the thing. Overall, I'm saying it's not too early, but I'm also torn. Like, if I actually want to eat one before November.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And, there's a box staring me at the face in my own home, so chances are I will.
You're going to dig in.
But I don't feel great about it.
But you're going to dig in. Okay, also, Beav, real quick, how was the John Candy documentary on Amazon?
Okay, so I went and started it Saturday night, but I just couldn't focus.
Okay.
Because there were other things that I wanted to look at. There was, it's scary movie night. There was college football.
Yeah.
So I started it and I got through like maybe 15 minutes and I said, I just can't. I can't devote my attention to it.
Okay. So you didn't. I texted you that I was going to start it and then didn't. I think that was Friday night. And what it was, Beav, is I'd been on the road all day, working all day, and had driven back home. I think that was Friday night. Yeah, from Hattiesburg, and was all like, yes. And then as soon as I got still, I realized there's no point in watching anything. I was going to be asleep really soon, and so I didn't watch any of it. I'm excited to watch it maybe this week as a part of our fall break festivities. 2 more things for you, Beav, real quick, right off the top of the show. Did you get a fall break when you were coming up in school?
Never. It was not a thing. It did not exist.
I don't know if this is fall break for everybody or if it's just like this is the week that kids in Tupelo, where my daughter goes to school, is that this is the week we're getting fall break. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But fall break is a thing. A whole week, Beav, fall break. Guess what? In a month, Thanksgiving, whole week. Month after that, Christmas, 2 weeks. Couple of months after that, spring break. Beav, it ain't like it used to be, buddy.
No, man. Like our fall break was 1 day. That was Columbus Day. Thanksgiving was 3 days. We got Wednesday through Friday.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. This was the fourth thing. Did, in your opinion, Beaver, I'm stalling here until I find the button for later purposes. Did Auburn get robbed with the fumble call on the goal line saying he didn't break the plane and it turned into a Georgia fumble? Do you have an opinion on that?
I think they did. I think it was over.
Okay. You thought he broke the plane?
Yeah.
So y'all hear that? Put Beaver into the group of, and everybody in the country who is any sort of interested in this at all, it is right down the middle 50-50. You can draw a line right down the middle 50-50. With the number of people that think that he broke the plane and it should have been a touchdown first versus the number of people that we, and I'm in the other group, Beav, think that he didn't break the plane first. And slowed down video show the ball got punched twice. And the second time is when it came squirting out of there. The first time started the ball moving, in my opinion, before he broke the plane. So, but weird all the way around. Oh, Beav, did you see Kirby Smart lie about calling a timeout?
I did. I saw that. So I wasn't calling a timeout. I was trying to show that they were clapping.
I was showing you they were clapping. I wasn't calling timeout. And here's the thing. It's funny more than anything else. Okay, it's one timeout in a great big football game. I'm not making a huge deal out of it. And I'm not going to sit here and, pound the desk and say that Kirby Smart is a dirty dog lying, so-and-so. But I did find it funny that he was able to pull that off. And the official went, okay, fine, whatever. He wasn't calling timeout. My bad. Give him his timeout back. He was clapping. He was showing clapping. The whole thing kind of struck me as hilarious towards the end of that game. And I'm sure it partly did because I am not an Auburn fan. Oh, Beaver, did you see it live or see video clips of Auburn's athletics director, John Cohen, the former AD at State, on the field chasing down the officials, yelling and screaming at them going into halftime?
No, I didn't.
Well, it exists. If you were to just Google that, John Cohen screams at official. John's been known to, over the years, get emotional. I think like any player, coach. And so the debate after that was some people going, there's no place for a school official. Let's say it's an athletics director or president or associate AD or somebody in the War Eagle Club, anybody like that, being on the field going at an official. Now, he didn't run him down and shove him, but what he did is he made sure he ran up into his vicinity and on the way in the locker room, screaming his head off at the official. Yeah, that happened too. And
slightly pathetic, I think. Like you're the athletic director. I'm with whoever just said that. That is in no way your place.
It can't happen, Beaver. That's just where that is. It's a mistake. Okay, here let me before Beaver, I sound really hypocritical because I've been known to, in the heat of battle too, sporting events, be really intense and get mad about things and scream and yell and all that stuff. So I can absolutely fully understand getting hot-headed and wanting to give the official a piece of your mind and kind of losing sense of awareness, a sense of self-awareness of where you are and what you're doing. So I can empathize with that, but I don't. But at the same time, it doesn't make it right. If you're the SEC and any school's athletics director does that, okay, we're talking about during a game, it's on the field, we're just headed to halftime, but for everybody in the stadium and on TV to see, here's the AD letting an official have it. Well, that can't happen. And unfortunately, I think the SEC is probably going to make an example out of it, even though he's good friends with Greg Sankey and all that. I don't think they're going to have any choice but to fine him. And probably, who knows if it becomes public, but they're going to punish him. And they're going to let the other ADs in the league know. See, here's your example. If you do this, you're getting punished. So that was part of that whole thing, too. So I saw all that. See, I watched Alabama-Missouri game was a heck of a ball game. I mean, it really was. Really physical. Impressed with Alabama. And then watched that night Auburn and Georgia. And it was a heck of a ball game. I mean, it really, really was. And that's the thing, too, about, you know, the Auburn fans and, of course, your mushy-headed media, some of them, not all. And then, and the AD, too. I mean, it's their school. They're mad about what happened. You know, they throw a little bit of a fit. But, you know, my opinion was, even though, yes, all the stoppages, and I didn't think Ken Williamson, he was the head official, and that particular official and his crew, they're always going to have weird things happen. It's just the way they do that particular crew. It's always going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride when they're calling your game, especially a big one. But I felt like they got them all right. Things they reviewed and slowed down. It was just a little bit of a convoluted way of managing the game. And so I didn't think a lot of the complaints were warranted. That's just my opinion. And lots of people disagree. And so there you go. All right, over to the text line here on this Reaction Monday. Country Please and text. Denzel said the picture I sent was taken last Thursday at Walmart in Philadelphia. So to answer your question, Beaver, Christmas tree cakes, it ain't just today. Been out a while. All right, let me get caught up. Lots of comments on the live stream, YouTube, Facebook, and elsewhere. Sven on YouTube said, who has two better wins? What are we talking about? He said, nobody. He said, Ole Miss lucked one up against Washington State, and same with LSU. South Carolina created 3 turnovers, but Sellers, too bad this year to capitalize on it. Tennessee survived Arkansas. And then he said Kirby cheated. I mean, Georgia had to have it. Sven, he's in Berlin, Germany, so it's nighttime over there right now. He said he watched college football the other night from 6 p.m. until 5:45 a.m. Now that is a fan. Thanks, Blind Squirrel. He said, enjoy your time off. I'll do that. Today's my only day here. We got fall break this week, so we're going family time this week and then travel to Gainesville this coming weekend. Hunter says, family is everything. Enjoy your time off, Matt. Football and Little Debbie talk will be here when you return. Well, I appreciate that very much, Hunter. Yeah, and I always look forward to it. You stay away too long, you get to feeling antsy like, I need to get back. Sven says he never played golf in his life. JS290, stupid play call by Hugh Freeze. And then he says, anyone remember what down that was? Are we talking about the QB sneak tush push, their kind of version of the tush push they were using right there? It was, wasn't it second down? Was it second goal? I may be wrong. You know, JS290 said he had the audio turned off, but besides a fumble, what did the refs say about being down rather than a scoop and score? Well, see, that's the thing, JS290, that I think added fuel to the fire of the mismanagement of the call of that particular play on the goal line. We're talking Auburn, Georgia goal line. It's ruled a fumble, Georgia recovery. But replay clearly showed the Georgia player who recovered the fumble, which they called it a fumble on the field, was not down. He rolled over on top of one of his teammates. He never touched the ground, hopped right up. So if Williamson and company are going to rule this a fumble in real time, which they did, then everybody will tell you, every official, every coach, everybody that's involved with talking about rules and officiating knows their job right there is to let the play out, because you can always come back and review whether or not he was actually down. So you let the play continue, and then you look at it. They didn't. They called it a fumble and a recovery, but blew the play dead. And then by blowing it dead, you basically have robbed Georgia of a 99-yard touchdown the other way, which it was. Okay, and this is beyond debating whether he was breaking the plane and it was a touchdown for Auburn or not, the fact is they ruled fumble on the field. Somebody throws the beanbag and says fumble. Recovery, Georgia. You never, in today's game with replay, as an official, are supposed to blow that play dead. When it's continuing, you can always come back and review whether or not he was down. You see what I mean? So that was part of the issue too. I mean, and I think they obviously called him down at the 1 after the fumble recovery because they blew the play dead. But replay clearly showed he wasn't down. Hunter commented, Auburn had just 1 first down in the second half and 49 yards. It says during halftime, the coaches must have harped on that fumble play and not game adjustments. Well, see, that's the other thing. Like, how do you, after watching that whole sequence, Hunter, like, how do you deal with that? Knowing you had all the momentum, Auburn so outplayed Georgia in the first half, just dominated the first half, and are about to go in to make it 17-0. They dominated the first half. Okay, and then this strange thing happens at halftime, and your coach and your AD throw a royal hissy fit, which every player can see. And then in the second half, Georgia absolutely dominated Auburn. How do you reconcile that? More of your texts, more of your comments. We're just getting started on this Reaction Monday. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. The green onion country pleasing. That's not all. The original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia blend.
Right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Hard to disagree with that right now, isn't it? Sven says Indiana is a national title contender, and they are better right now than any SEC team. Back with you in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the state. Thanks for some hot coffee. I'm feeling good right now. We're just getting started. Long way to go on a reaction. Reaction Mondays are maybe the most fun, especially during football season. And I got hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Go to highpointroasters.com. Order it right there. Big 1-pound bags. You're not going to run out anytime soon. You can get it already ground or get whole bean, single origin from all over the world. You can see that on the website and different blends that they've come up with. And this is a really good coffee. It's even better when it's boiling hot. Boiling hot. What do you think about that? Sven says Indiana better than any SEC team right now. Who is the best SEC team right now? Tell you what, Alabama looks pretty good, don't they? They got manhandled by Florida State in the first game. What happened to them? The Ole Miss has looked good at times, but they didn't look that great this weekend, apparently. I didn't really get to see it. It was a 3-point game over Washington State. Who is the best SEC team? I don't know. Blind Squirrel said, I'll move on, but before I do, the funniest part of the faux timeout is that it had zero impact on the outcome of the game. Dogs failed to score on that drive and also didn't need the free timeout. That's right. They didn't score, didn't really need it when it was all, I tell you, Blind Squirrel, I had a much different reaction than a lot of people did. You could probably draw that 50-50 line down the middle on that too, where, 50% of the people that go, whatever, it's just part of the game. If you can pull it off, pull it off. It's not cheating. And the other part going, I despise it. I don't respect him for it. I'm done with Kirby Smart. He is a liar. Rick, my friend Rick on Facebook right here, he says lost all respect for Kirby Smart after the fake timeout. There's no doubt he lied about it. My reaction to it was I couldn't not find it funny. There's something about all of it. Maybe it's because it was this official that the official clearly saw Kirby Smart signaling timeout. And he went, all right, timeout. Georgia, he signaled timeout. And then Kirby comes running down and no. And then he starts. And then here's Kirby pleading his case, talking him out of it. And the official standing there going kind of like a dog when you say something to a dog and he doesn't know what you're saying. And he just starts turning his head different ways, like over to the side and going, oh. And the official's standing there kind of looking at Kirby that way. And Kirby's going, I didn't call timeout. I was clapping. And then the cameras clearly show Kirby. And he's doing his hands like a clapping motion. And he looks like in Nutty Professor when Eddie Murphy's doing Hercules. That's what he looked like. And then The official, you could see the official eventually go, well, okay, my bad. I thought you were calling timeout. He wasn't calling timeout. The whole thing is funny. I just could not find it funny. Maybe I should have seen it otherwise. I don't know, but it did crack me up. Like, well, look at this mess right here. Look at this mess right here. That was them and not us. And look, the way that the first half went, and, you know, Coach Cohen and Coach Freeze and them, they're convinced. And they're convinced that this is a conspiracy, and we're going to get another apology. And they're out to get us. They botched this whole half against Auburn. They were convinced, mad, screaming. I'm sitting here watching going, look, I don't like all the stoppages and reviews either. Got them all right. They got them all right. What are you mad about? You know, and then you get over into the second half and that happens. Kirby clearly calls timeout, says, well, no. That's not what I was doing a clapping thing. My man, Robbie, bless his heart. Robbie, bless your heart. Robbie, a dedicated Auburn fan. And he said, yeah, it's not funny.
But it is.
Beaver, is it funny?
It's extremely funny.
I mean, when has that ever happened before? I can't remember ever a coach doing something and then just smooth tricking the officials and the whole world to see. And then you can just, Beaver, then you just see like Kirby sitting there in the post game. You see Robbie's response to you, Beaver, on the text line?
Yeah.
Robbie texted in and says, no one asked your opinion, Beaver. Then you see Kirby sitting there in the post game looking all dopey, wearing that little visor and his bowl haircut with this little smirk on his face when they asked him about it. Knowing good and well he's lying. And he's like, hey, man, look, 115th win, baby. Glory, glory for old Georgia.
I must apologize to Robbie. I am so very sorry that I dared to voice my feeble opinion because your team lost a football game. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was so wrong. Yeah, I'm the jerk.
Oh, it's great. I'll tell you, man. You know, and here's the thing, Beaver. Okay, neither you nor I are Auburn or Georgia fans. So there's no emotional rooting interest in what happens in that game whatsoever, right?
Right.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm sitting there watching it. The more drama and confusion that was happening, the more entertaining it was for me because I had no dog in the race. Beef, can you imagine how I would have been if that was happening to Mississippi State in a state game?
It wouldn't be so funny then.
Exactly, and I'd admit it. I'll admit that. It would not have been so funny then. But I'm sitting there watching that the other night, thoroughly entertained. I'm laughing my head off. and thinking to myself, is this what fans get to do when they get to sit at home and watch games on TV every Saturday of games that they don't have a rooting in? They find it entertaining. Do they get to have this much fun every weekend? Because that was fun. And the only reason it was fun is because I'm not an Auburn fan. It's great. Let's see here. What did RT send? RT sent a video, said the best ever. What is this video? Hang on. This is Squirrel runs onto field, torments Georgia sideline. When did that happen? Surely that wasn't the same game, RT. You're not telling me that this also happened during the same game, are you? Is that made up? Anyway, let me get to some more text here. Will texted and said, I thought we were talking about the Green Berets selling cookies. Didn't expect Christmas tree Big Deborah's to be out yet. They're out. Christmas tree cakes. Jason in Flagstaff says, no fall break for us, but we got longer summers. Yeah, that's another thing. Right. We went, Jason, growing up, when did we go back to school? Late August? Now it's like first week of August to go back. Real C texted in and says, Beeve and them Pearl kids didn't get fall break because there wasn't enough parole officers around. Come on, man. Hey, Real C. Real C. Look me here in the eye, buddy. Look at me in the eye. You can't be from Clinton and say that. Okay, he says Freeze is going to get goned, like they're going to fire him. Then he says Texas still ain't back, even though they whooped up on Oklahoma. Oklahoma's offense looked pitiful, didn't it? Then he said Kirby, geez. And then he wants to know what in the KIF was Lane doing. Saying I wouldn't know, but it sure got close over there somehow. I mean, Washington State apparently really scared the daylights out of Ole Miss this weekend. Okay, unnamed texter wants to know what the game time is for Mississippi State and Texas next weekend. They have slotted it for an afternoon. So it is either going to be 2:30 Central Time on ESPN or 3:15 on the SEC Network. One of those two deals. So there you go. More texts, more comments coming up, both on the live stream and on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best, hands down. More texts coming up. Your phone calls as well. Phone lines open to you on the Junction Phone. Junction Phone? The Junction Phone. Junction delis all across the state. I'll give you those numbers coming up. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve Country Pleasin' sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world. in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that, everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him.
.com.
And back. Coming to your comments, Blind Squirrel, Sven, Hunter, all of y'all, Will, everybody. Your texts are coming up on the Country Pleasing text line. Walt, CB, PT, Ronnie, Rebel Godfather, RT, Bama fan. Sounds like all of our cousins, doesn't it? Robbie, Dennis, formerly of Omaha. All of that coming up. But first, headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Mortgagemanms.com. A long, frustrating night for the Detroit Lions. Is it Detroit or Detroit? Inside Arrowhead Stadium ended with safety Brian Branch giving an open-handed slap to Chiefs receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. It set off a brief fight among players from both teams, and it kind of put a black eye, pun, on a heck of a night of football for the Kansas City Chiefs. Anyhow, they win the game 30-17 over the Lions. That's all that matters. The Chiefs are back. Run, tell them I said it. The Chiefs are, in fact, back. Penn State fires their head coach James Franklin after 12 seasons. They went and got whooped by Northwestern, and that was enough. Penn State owes him a little over $49 million. It's the second biggest buyout in college football history, behind only Jimbo Fisher's $76 million buyout from Texas A&M. Y'all, it's a joke. The hiring coaches, firing coaches, contract negotiation mess is a joke. the hiring coaches negotiating with coaches' agents and big name coaches and wanting to, win the press conference in the era of paying players and all this, and bowing down and kissing the shoes of an agent who swears that you have to hire their guy and give him these kind of bow. It is an absolute embarrassing joke what these universities and their administrations are doing when they hire these coaches. If you don't think that there are plenty of coaches out there who could do just as good a job or better in some cases for a fraction of what you're agreeing to pay these James Franklin kind of guys, then you're crazy. Because they're everywhere. Find them, give them an opportunity, and stop this mess. It is a joke. Meanwhile, UAB has fired Trent Dilfer. They named Alex Mortensen interim head coach. Who? I don't know. They lost 53-33 to FAU, fell to 2-4. They got big expectations at UAB. And those are your headlines, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank. All over the state of Mississippi, anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, that's where you want to go. Trust me on that. The kind of people you want to do business with. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Dennis, formerly of Omaha, says, SEC Shorts has a great video out this week making fun of Kirby Smart's timeout clap and Jedi mind control over the refs. Those guys, how do they keep coming up with those ideas? That's pretty good, isn't it? But let me say this. Ask yourself this question. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just, different people are different. When you watch the SEC Shorts, do you literally laugh out loud, like by yourself or with someone else? Do you go, ha ha, or is it just you're entertained by it? I would say there are times I don't really watch them anymore because I'd never actually laugh out loud. True story. Let me tell you how weird I am. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll listen to old Jack Benny radio shows from like the 40s and 50s, and I will literally laugh out loud all by myself. Really, don't ever do it with SEC Shorts. I just don't. I like it. I'm impressed, but I don't laugh. But you didn't ask my opinion on that. Rebel Godfather texted the show and said Ken Williamson and his entire crew should be fired. They are the worst officials in the SEC and football altogether. Little extreme. I'm sure there's worse crews out there at different levels. But here's the thing, Rebel Godfather. Yeah, the stoppages and sort of managing and the whole situation with Kirby and the fake timeout. But in that first half, I thought they got all the calls right. I didn't think they got a bunch of calls wrong. And can you really fire a guy for getting tricked out of a timeout by the coach? Can you really fire him for that? I mean, he is Kirby Smart. Now, to weigh in on this subject of Ken Williamson and his officiating crew and the fact that they, whether or not they should be fired and the fact that they are the worst, Robbie, our Auburn fan friend, said, no, they are the worst. Of course he did. I hear you, Robbie. Ronnie texted and he said, it makes a lot of people think it's rigged to make sure that certain teams make the playoffs. It's like the SEC has already picked who they want. PT for MSU, he texted Matt. He said, I got a good laugh out of you last week after we got the turnover and then turned the ball right back over. Quote, if you can't hold a block for any longer than that, you might as well just run it every down. He said, everybody watching is at minimum thinking it. Glad you said it. What I said is at that point in that game, it had gotten to the point in that game where if you can't protect any longer than that, there's no point in trying to throw that football. None. Well, we might get a guy open for a touchdown. So what? You might get them all open for a touchdown. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. It don't make a hill of beans who can get open. If you can't protect any better than that, any longer than that, doesn't matter. Might as well run it. So I was frustrated. CB asked me, he said, where are you going to spend time with family this week, home or away from home for fall break? If you're just tuning in, this will be my only day on the radio this week. We got the week off. Mary Lady's out of school for fall break, so we're going to family time it together. And we're going to go see some mountains. Yes. To heck with all that sand. Boo, sand. We're going to see mountains. And then I'm going to go to Gainesville, Florida this weekend. Do they even have sand in Gainesville? I've never been there. Walt texted the show, says, hopefully Lane has something in his bag of tricks for a game like this. He says, Matt, what are the chances? What are Ole Miss's chances against Georgia if the Rebel team that played LSU reappears Saturday in Athens? Well, Walt, here's what I'd tell you. With Georgia coming up the next week, there is no doubt there were certain things this week against Washington State that, well, what's the right way to say this? Let me put it this way, Walt. There's no doubt that things were condensed against Washington State versus what Ole Miss will pack in its suitcase to go to Athens this week. Does that make sense? There's no doubt. Now, I'm not saying it was a 3-point game because they were ultra conservative. I didn't see the game. I don't have to know that there's no doubt there will be a whole different bag of tricks that will be on the ride to Athens than what got off the bus at, Oxford this weekend to play Washington State. The other thing is personnel, all that kind of stuff. And in terms of scout, there, no disrespect to Washington State. And I know that they almost won the game. Coaches will tell you one thing in a press conference, but never say this in a press conference. Can't afford to say this kind of thing in a press conference. There's no doubt. You already had a whole bunch of Ole Miss staff scouting and working on Georgia last week, leading into the Washington State game. No question. So does Ole Miss have a chance? Absolutely they have a chance to go over there and win. Georgia is not Georgia of old. You can watch any of their games and see that. So they absolutely have a chance over there. All they got to do is have a good day offensively and can keep, get the ball first and have a good day offensively, and you can go over there and win. No question. And look, we'll look at it in hour two. I can't think off the top of my head where all on the road Ole Miss has played this year. But one thing is the atmosphere in Georgia and at Athens for this game will be it'll be one of, if not the best, that on the road that they go to this year. And so that has a chance to affect them also. All right, hour one in the books, hour two coming up after this. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at Country Pleasing.
Here we go. At the Zone 1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt, in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Staying connected to you because of C Spire. The number one network in Mississippi is C Spire, customer inspired. Check them out at cspire.com. Hey, Rick commented here. Rick commented on Facebook on the live stream. He said, changing the subject, how did Dallas inherit State's defense from last year? Pitiful, just pitiful. Here's Rick, here's what I saw to illustrate that this morning. I was talking about my man Philip Prince from the Junction Deli. By the way, y'all can call me here on this Reaction Monday on the Junction phone line. Fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. Pull up to the pump, fuel in your vehicle, go inside, little fuel in your belly from the Junction Deli. 897-1059. That's the number to call. 1059 like the radio station. 601 number. 897-1059. But this was the stat. It said the Cowboys have faced Bryce Young, Justin Fields, who, by the way, the Jets just had negative 10 yards passing in a game. I don't know if you saw that yesterday. I can't even wrap my head around that. Bryce Young, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson, and Jalen Hurts. Okay, that group, not exactly Marino-esque, would you say? Bryce Young, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson, and Jalen Hurts. Combined, that group has completed 72% of their passes against the Cowboys. 270 a game, 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. A combined passer rating of 117, the highest in the NFL. And Rick, that's immediately what I thought of. I know it's college to pro, but I immediately thought of what it was like watching State's defense play last year. Everybody State played. Like Toledo's quarterback was completing 40% coming into that game, completed like 40% the rest of the year, but against State, he went for like 75% completions. It was pitiful. And the biggest indicator of how poor the defense was from a pressure and a front seven standpoint is opposing quarterbacks stand back there and do whatever they want to do. And that's what's happening to the Cowboys defense. All-time bad. That's what they are. All-time bad. Joe texted the show and said, Matt, how about those Chiefs? Not bad. It's about time they got back on the horse. All it means the Chiefs are back. They're back. This is what good teams do. Yeah, start a little slow. So what? It's a long year, 17 games. We'll be fine. We'll be there in the end. Chiefs are back. Somebody said add another victim to your list. Oregon State has fired their coach this morning. And I also saw where just in the last hour, the Titans fired their coach up in the NFL. So, yeah, go draft a quarterback, number 1 overall. He's really talented, but not ready to be anybody's franchise quarterback. No, but nowhere near it. Jackson Dart, anybody with one eyeball could evaluate their films versus their competition. And coming into last year's draft could see that Jackson Dart was a whole lot closer to being ready to go be somebody's quarterback now than Ward. Period. Drafted number 1. They're not that great. Fire the coach. Boy, they're a mess. They are. Hey, Titans and Titans fans, organization, here you go.
Get out your vacuums, your dust mops, your Glass Plus, your bleaches, your Brasso, Wade air fresheners. Things are a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah. Earl in Madison said, the next time they ask me for more money, I'm going to send them a box of Star Crunch. And then he says, without a doubt, the worst Little Debbie. No, it's not. No, it's not. He's talking about wanting fans to pay for everything, firing coaches and buyouts. He said he's going to send them Star Crunch. You send me the Star Crunch, Earl, somebody who can appreciate them. I'll take them. Rebel Godfather texted the show, country pleasing sausage text line, and said, I stand by my assertion. Ken Williamson's crew, their games always have problems. They're bad and shouldn't be officiating Pee Wee football. Well, here's the thing, Rebel Godfather. I actually agree with you. I said it. Annabeth and I were sitting there watching the game the other night. As soon as I saw Ken Williamson walk across, he may be the nicest guy in the world. I've never met him. This is not a personal thing. But in terms of he and his crew and the way they operate these games, there's always something weird going on. Just like out of the norm and choppy and stoppage here, delay there. Like, it's always weird. And but it still doesn't mean I still think they got all those calls in the first half anyway. I think they got them all right. Scott, thanks for the picture. He said, Matt, go to Glacier National Park. Yeah, I would love to. I'm not big on grizzly bears, Scott. I don't want to be around grizzly bears. Okay, but other than that, it would be beautiful. Do a little Ansel Adams thing, go up there and take some take some black and white landscape photos. Look him up. Phenomenal. Like his stuff, he's got photos selling for unreal amounts of money. Denzel says, until I see who all is going to play for us this week right now, he says, I've got it 28-17 Florida. He said it may change depending on who's going to play for us. Levy said today that Fluff Bothwell is doubtful for this weekend. You know, what they say about Reese, they expect him back. That's a big deal. Thibodeau. Nice to hear from you, Thibodeau. For the first time since August the 12th, with this doozy of a comment, Kirby Smart's visor is a lady's tennis visor. Or the country club golf kid visor. You got to have a good, nice, full, thick head of hair to be wearing that thing. That's the deal. Bowl cut or not. Somebody it was Hunter. Hunter commented on YouTube a little while ago, and he said that Kirby had a bowl haircut like Lloyd Christmas. That was the character played by, well, a lot of y'all know this, but played by Jim Carrey in the movie Dumb and Dumber. Again, I admire anybody with hair. Andre from Jackson says this week, Georgia 31, Ole Miss 17, payback game. Andre from Jackson, and says Ole Miss has no shot this week. No shot, he says. Bama fan texted the show. He said Georgia 34, Ole Miss 24. Bama 37, Tennessee 24. This coming weekend. Earlier in the show, he texted and he said, my wife does not like Kirby. She calls him Spanky. From the Little Rascals. It's pretty funny. He said, Matt, you know what they always say? don't leave it in the ref's hands. Auburn quarterback shouldn't have fumbled on the 1 foot line. Should hold the ball. So then there's no question at that point it would have been a touchdown, 17-zip. You know what, Bama fan? You have an excellent point there, sir. You have an excellent point. In fact, your comment sounds exactly like something Beaver would look at me and say after an hour of going on and on about whether he did fumble or didn't, and it should have been a Georgia touchdown, and official this and official that. And to go, wait a minute. The thing here is he never should have fumbled in the first place. You talk about getting off scot-free. I mean, this quarterback for Auburn's kind of living a charmed life there, isn't he? Because, I mean, it's his fault. You can't transfer from Oklahoma and get yourself a big, fat $1 million paycheck from Auburn and go fumble on a 1 foot line with a chance to go up 17-0 before halftime to Georgia. You know what? Hang on to the ball. Right? I mean, my goodness. How do we skip over that? Bama fan, it just shows even I am getting soft. Magic Mike texts the show. He says, Matt, I may have missed it, but do we have an availability report for the Dogs this weekend? I think the first official availability report comes out on Wednesdays, and then they update it throughout the end of the week. I did see today where Jeff Levy said that Bothwell was doubtful for the Florida game. Unnamed texter says, and the Titans have Matt Vrabel coming in with New England Sunday, and he's got a grudge after they fired him. RT, he says, if Tennessee scored 41 against Georgia, my prediction is Ole Miss 38-28. Obviously, these game predictions are guys living in the past. Listen, that's kind of what RT, I'm like, Georgia's defense is not the good old Georgia's defense that it's been the last few years. And they did go to Auburn and get dominated for a solid half. And if Auburn was, fluent throwing the football as they are running it, the game is out of hand by halftime. I know it's a big if. If kid, holds on to it from a foot away, it's 17-0 at halftime. That sort of thing. So somebody asking me, does Ole Miss have a chance? Of course they do. Of course they do. Now, again, they're going to go there, and you look at road trips. Sometimes atmosphere and that home atmosphere for a team like Georgia, it can play a factor. And the road games this year for this Ole Miss team, and what is it? They went to Kentucky and that's it? I mean, that's it. So this is one of only 3 road trips remaining for Ole Miss. They go to Georgia. They go to Oklahoma. They'll play the Egg Bowl on the road at Thanksgiving. But what time did they say what time this game is this weekend? I figured they would already say it, right? Hang on. It's a 2:30. Still, even then, it by far the biggest, baddest, toughest road atmosphere to go play in. That's why I said to get the ball first and go score, put some doubt. Georgia fans know they're not as tough as they have been. Can Georgia beat them? Sure they can. Sure they can. But somebody asking, does Ole Miss have a chance against Georgia? Of course they do. It's not quite the same Georgia defense. Some of it, yeah, the overall idea is kind of what Lane Kiffin talked about a couple of weeks ago, that in this pay-for-play era, man, nobody's stacking their roster versus everybody else the way they used to. The days of Kirby at Georgia and like the Saban in Alabama having these rosters that are so stacked compared to anybody else they're playing in the SEC that they have to stub their toe to go 11-1. You see what I mean? Like, Kiffin's right. Those days are over, man. The end. Watch. And you've already seen it with Alabama. You've already seen it with Georgia. So it's really a matter of week to week, who is healthy and who isn't. Look at Oklahoma last week. Mateer, I mean, he's playing through that thing, but I didn't think he was the same. He's tough and all. He's playing through it, but I didn't think he was the same. You know, week to week, who's healthy and who isn't, and then who executes and who doesn't. You know, the days of Kirby at Georgia having a roster of 3 deep at every position of 5 and 4 stars at every position, and really just having to maintain week to week and cruising to 11-1, 12-0, those days are over. And the reason is wide open pay for play and wide open transfer portal. I know they're closing that window, so now it's going to just be, one window in January going forward. But still the same. It's all the same. It just makes it a little more manageable, I think, for, you know, teams that are leading up to playoff games and stuff. But still, they're all going to leave because you got some third. I mean, look what State did with this defensive line. Take Bledsoe, for example. Super talented coming out, buried on the depth chart at Texas. Big, nice financial offer to get immediate playing time at another SEC school. Go play right away. Let's go. There goes some of Texas's depth. So, you know, it's happening all over the place. And nobody's going to have these overwhelming advantages that you used to have in an era where there was the perception of NCAA rules to follow. Some schools did not have the political clout that other schools did, and so therefore they couldn't get away with it as well. But some schools did have the political clout and could pay whoever, whatever, give whoever a car, whatever it took, and you had 4s and 5s stacked throughout your roster. Those days are over. Miko texted the show. What is this? Matt, this doesn't have a thing to do with football. He says, then again, it would make me at 6'2", 235 run a 4.2 40. And then he said, ooh, look at that rattlesnake. That, my friends, is a diamondback rattlesnake. That thing is about what, Miko, 5 feet long? That's a big one right there. Man, those big diamondback rattlesnakes get big and thick and wide. It's kind of like a grown adult cottonmouth / moccasin. That body will get wide. You know, it's one of the ways you can distinguish it from a water snake, among other things. Miko, thanks for sending that. I want to tell you, Miko, side note, again, nothing to do with football. You never know why or for what reasons some things resonate with certain people. But, you know, we're just finishing up season 2 of the Mississippi Outdoors podcast with MDWFP, Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks here in Mississippi, and that I've been able to host now for a couple seasons. And all kinds of subjects under the sun, as you could, I mean, anything you can imagine, outdoor nature, conservation, just anything, hunt, fish, all that. But we've had some snake guys, and for whatever reason, I've become fascinated with snakes and the challenge of being able to identify at any point, you know, one from another and all the things. I've become fascinated with them. And I find myself when I go out or in the woods or at the water or even like I'm walking the dog around the neighborhood, I find myself wanting to see snakes. You find that? I'm fascinated with them. Bama fans said Georgia's team grinds and they don't quit. You got to play a full game to beat them. J-Rock says Georgia defense is no Washington State. They will not hold the Rebels down like the Cougars did. So we'll see. Denzel, he texts the show, said Georgia 38, Ole Miss 21. If Georgia can put up 38 on Tennessee's defense, they will do the same on Ole Miss. Tennessee has a better defense than Ole Miss does. And that's according to White Denzel. I'll tell you what, so this weekend in the SEC, State's going to go to Florida. We'll see how that works out. Florida played a little better against A&M on the road than State did, but overall they still got whipped. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, Florida is 2-4 overall. State's 4-2. But Florida's a pretty big favorite at home this weekend in Gainesville. State, I think, is just, if you have a full roster completely healthy, maybe it's a different deal, but you get a few key injuries, particularly at offensive tackle, and now you top running back and all that, and it really hurts a team like State. LSU goes to Vandy, 11 a.m. game in Nashville. LSU at Vandy. Honestly, it just feels like one of those deals to me where Vandy can run the ball on LSU and will run it down their throat some in that game. Shorten it and kind of keep it close. I really think that's a good game. LSU at Vandy. I do. I think Vandy will have a shot in it. You get Oklahoma on the road after losing to Texas. They go to South Carolina this week. I'm going to tell you now, look, that's a tough road trip for Oklahoma. Quarterback still beat up. Take a loss. Get whipped by Texas's defense, and you're, again, congratulated by getting to go on the road to South Carolina, which I don't care if they're 0-11. That is a pit to go play in. A snake pit. It'll be full. Tell you what now, South Carolina's not great, but they absolutely can win that game. A&M and Arkansas, it's in Fayetteville, not neutral site. Let's look at some more of these when we come back. Music started now, but we'll go through the rest of the weekend schedule when we come back. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do.
So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. The original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, Oh, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people.
And tell him what you think right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. Sven, talking about Georgia, said Gunnar Stockton, not much better, but he is in year 1. He's talking about Arnold. He started off this by saying all Arnold does, this is at Auburn, is close his eyes, do a prayer, and hope the wide receiver can catch a ball. Then he said Stockton, not much better. I thought Stockton's been pretty good this year, actually. But you're right. First-year guys. I tell you what, Sven, if you look at the overall, like, you take a big swath of a time period and look at SEC quarterbacks, do 10 years, do 15 years. And if you were to collectively find the multi-year starters, in that time, let's do 10 years, and look at them in year 1 as a full-time starter versus year 2 as a full-time starter. It will really paint a picture for you of, how tough it is when guys step out there and the whole game and the whole team is theirs. Now, for a full 70 plays, matching up against these SEC defenses and their $1 million defensive coordinators. I mean, even go back to Joe Burrow. Like, he's probably, he's the most extreme example, but look at Joe Burrow in year 1 as the starter at LSU versus year 2. And in year 1 for Burrow at LSU, nothing was spectacular. But if you look at the tape, you could see these moments where you go, oh, wow, okay, like there's some real stuff there. It hasn't really had a chance to really bloom, and then he works his tail off and has great receivers in year 2. They really bloom. I think about that road win at Auburn in that first year for Burrow as LSU starter. They go to Auburn, heck of a road atmosphere to play in. Late fourth quarter, he's got to do some things. There was a 4th down conversion throw in there while he's getting hit. That was sort of, I think, the moment that pushed him and them over the edge and said, okay, this is our guy for sure. And he knew it and everybody knew it. And it was like a welcome to the SEC moment, but also a welcome to Joe Burrow moment. And I'm not saying all these guys are Joe Burrow, but I'm just saying over the long haul, the first year you hand the offense to a guy and go, okay, look, this is not mop-up duty. This isn't you're in case somebody gets hurt, No, the team is yours, buddy. The whole thing is yours. Have a ball. The first year they go out and do it, it's a learning experience. It's tough now. It's a tough deal. All right. Rick said on Facebook, or he asked, how many starters will State be without this Saturday? I don't really know, and I think what you're looking at is Bothwell, Reese, Isaac Smith defensively to see like who's in, who's out. I think I did see where Bothwell doubtful for the weekend. What you hope is that Reese at tackle and Isaac Smith on defense, or maybe they're probable. So, but overall, I just don't know here on a Monday. I just don't know. Steve said on Facebook, Matt, I miss your, quote, tell it like it is comments on the post-game broadcast from Bulldog Burger. He says the two guys doing it this year are not as honest as the guys on last year's show. Yeah, well, you know, and they're new. They're new together. And Jay's not new. I mean, Marcus is new at it, but they're kind of getting a feel for it. So just give them some time. But I think overall they're doing a really good job. Sven says Matt maybe remembers a real bakery when he was in Hamburg. You know, or Hamburg, sorry, Sven, as it were, Germany. You know, I remember being taken to a couple of places. But gosh, it's been so long ago. I couldn't name it if you forced me to do it. Yeah, I'm with you, Blind Squirrel, and that's a big part of it. Talking about Gunnar Stockton, he said, I love Gunnar's toughness. He said that his dad, who coached him, often said, you're useless on the ground. I mean, he's a tough kid. Seems just sort of to have the right it going on. And a lot of times those guys who, you know, they grew up around a program and their dad was a coach, they pick up so much of that. And then, you know, it's sort of second nature to them because they're around it their whole life. They're in locker rooms, you know. And so I like a coach's kid, man. You know, when if possible. Grayson, hey, on Facebook, thanks for tuning in, being a part of the show. Always good to hear from you. All right. Text line, country pleasing text line. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, there ain't nothing wrong with looking for snakes. I knew you've always been that way. I just sort of caught that bug recently. Jake from Yazoo texted me, and also with a picture, said snakes are out. Stay safe in the woods to all. And lots more people starting to get out and get in the woods. And look at that. That is I can't zoom in on this picture, Jake. It's not your picture. It's my computer. But is that a moccasin cottonmouth? Is that what I'm looking at there? Because am I right? The whole water moccasin versus cottonmouth, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I believe. I'm not an expert. I believe. Now, we were talking about Auburn earlier. Someone, I think it was Real C, texted in and said he thinks that Freeze is going to be gone. And Sven comments and says Cohen will be gone if Freeze fails. And Freeze has a losing record. No Bruce Pearl to save him anymore. Tough times for good old John. That's according to Sven. You know, would an AD like John Cohen get only one chance to hire a football coach at Auburn? Because you remember, too, he left to go to Auburn to begin a coaching search. It wasn't like he was the one that fired the previous guy, right? They came and hired him after the previous guy was already gone. Something to that effect. It's kind of all running together. But I know that he was hired to go in there and immediately go into a coaching search and seemed to have his eyes set on Freeze. But the thing about that, you know, Sven, I don't know how you felt about it exactly, but even then, it just seemed like anybody logically could look at it and go, look, Freeze, you know, Hugh Freeze, what is it? Arkansas State, Ole Miss, Liberty. Okay, there's your record. Now, when he was at Ole Miss, he had those teams, and they did beat Alabama a couple times. They would always have a head-scratcher loss here and there. Lose to Memphis, right? Lose to Arkansas. You know, head-scratcher losses here and there, a couple of those. Well, the thing was, you could easily look at it and go, you know, the one SEC job he had there at Ole Miss also got him in the most trouble they've ever been in. Clearly, one of the big advantages for his teams while he was coaching at Ole Miss is that they decided we will risk it all. I mean, that was one of the advantages the teams had. Look at their players, Tunsil, Treadwell, all those guys. Their deal was, this was long before the NIL/pay-for-play era came along, was, okay, everybody pays some players. We're going to pay them like we're Georgia and like we're Alabama. We're going to do it like them. And we're actually, if Georgia and Alabama are going 85, we're going 90. There was the advantage. If it's within the rules, they don't have some of those players. They don't have some of those wins. And then, what do you have? I guess is the thing. Logically, you could look at that and go, well, he won at Liberty. Well, look, they were getting a few leftover players at Liberty also. Tell the truth about it. So then to go, well, he's going to go to Auburn, and now we're going to have an era where there's no way to have some quote-unquote cheating advantage because cheating doesn't exist. Anybody can pay anybody anything to come play for them, period. Well, then what? There really ain't no advantage at all. None. So I just don't know. Who knows, man? Maybe they turn around and, start next week. But to this point, it certainly just hasn't ever looked like anything special. And I will admit, too, that you can look anywhere and find an example or two of that. Look at Sarkisian at Texas. You look at them this year and go, well, that ain't nothing special. Look at Kirby this year at Georgia. Well, that's really taking a step back. Look at Alabama in week 1. Ugh. I get it. Really, with their schedule, which is a very light schedule compared to some of the others, Ole Miss is the only team in the league this year that has yet to have that one where you go, well, knew that was coming eventually. They haven't had it yet. Okay, speaking of that, so we'll do it next. We'll go, since this will be my last segment for the week, fall break. We got family time together coming up. We will go, what's Missouri going to do at Auburn this weekend? What's Tennessee going to do in Tuscaloosa? What's Ole Miss going to do in Georgia? Oklahoma goes to South Carolina, LSU at Vandy, and State at Florida. We'll do that next. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia blend. High Point Roasters.
1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. All right, so that Missouri team, after losing at home to Alabama, goes on the road to Auburn. And it's weird because, Auburn's not bad. They're not really good, but they're not really bad. Okay, Missouri's a pretty good football team. They are. You can watch them and tell. It's really physical on defense. They kind of had an issue, penalties early, but they're very physical with Alabama. Quarterback can really run. He's tough to defend. A huge tight end. Like that's a team that's got a real clue. And now after losing at home to Alabama, they're 5-1. They're just 1-1 in the SEC, and their SEC win was at home 29-20 over South Carolina, and then the three-point loss at home to Alabama, in which they played with. That was a good ball game. In fact, the way the game started, Missouri was so much more ready to start the game than Alabama. And it's like I gave a ton of credit to Alabama's QB because he just got them back in it. He really played well. He's accurate. But now Missouri, so they're 1-1 in the SEC coming off a loss. They go on the road to Auburn, okay, who is good and desperate. Auburn now at the loss, 3-3 and 0-3 in the SEC. I know it comes down to like who's better, who isn't, ultimately long term. But you just got to feel like if there's any fight left in Auburn, Missouri is going to get a lot of it unloaded on them this weekend because Auburn's sitting there at 0-3 in the SEC and at home. So I think Missouri will win, but I kind of figure it'll be a tough game. That's what I think. It'll be tough on them to do it. Let's see. Tennessee is at Alabama. It's in Tuscaloosa. Did I say Alabama was off? No, they're not off. It's third Saturday in October, man. Huge game, big rivalry, right? Yeah, I don't think Tennessee is. They're not a great team. I don't think they're an average team. They're just sitting there right at trying to be good. Okay, but I think Alabama's a lot better than them right now. And it's in Tuscaloosa. And I tell you, you look at it, be honest. Tennessee's supposed to be world beater, but it took everything they had to beat Mississippi State in Starkville in overtime, and it took everything they had to beat Arkansas at home in Knoxville. This is a different deal, and they'll get up for it. I think Alabama's better, so I would take Alabama to win this weekend at home against Tennessee. Texas is at Kentucky. Texas, talented. Are they figuring it out on offense? I'll tell you one thing. Arch Manning, coming off his own goal line, made one of the best throws you'll see a college quarterback make this year. I know, here we go, building him up. But I saw it, and I was like, wow. There's a flash. Texas is just better than Kentucky. Kentucky not going to score much at home, are they, against Texas's defense? So Kentucky to go to 0-4 and Texas win on the road. We talked about Ole Miss, Georgia. It feels and looks like a Georgia win to me, and I am not convinced that Georgia is, really better than Ole Miss overall as a football team. But the fact that it's in Athens, the fact that Georgia's already got one loss, it's an SEC loss, to Alabama. The fact that Ole Miss hasn't had anywhere near the kind of road trip that it's about to have to make this week. Schedule has been really light on them so far, and it's about to get tougher. I just think Georgia probably find a way to win it. But it really wouldn't surprise me either way. Something in my gut. We'll see. A&M is in Fayetteville at Arkansas, and A&M is good enough defensively to give Arkansas trouble. So I'd expect A&M to win that one on the road. None of those do you see any sort of blowout scenarios, though, right? The Auburn-Missouri game, no. Bama-Tennessee, not a blowout. Nope. Texas-Kentucky, even though, Kentucky is not going to score much, but I don't expect a blowout. Same thing, Ole Miss, Georgia. A&M-Arkansas, I don't really expect the blowout in Fayetteville. But it could be. Oklahoma goes to South Carolina, and like I said, I think, sure, Oklahoma's much better than South Carolina overall, but that is a tough road trip coming off the loss to Texas for Oklahoma. I don't care how much better they are. You got to go in there. South Carolina always fills their stadium, always has excellent atmosphere. Of course, it is not a night game, but South Carolina is going to absolutely challenge Oklahoma in that ball game. And then the LSU Vandy game, it's 11 a.m. It's in Nashville. And they're both 5-1 overall. LSU is 2-1 in the SEC. Vandy's 1-1. But, man, I think Vandy's going to move the ball. And I think they're going to run the ball on LSU some. And I think LSU might be in trouble. And then you got State at Florida. And look, Florida is really, over, if you were to look at anything except, remove Florida's defensive line versus State's offensive line in the pass game from the equation, you could see a very even matchup in a lot of ways. Quarterback for quarterback, defense for defense, all this stuff. But when you consider Florida pass rush versus the protection issues that State has had in their last couple of ball games, it does spell advantage Florida, especially at home. In a 3:15 game, and they beat Texas recently, so they'll have a good atmosphere. And I think Florida fans, they see it certainly as a game that they're supposed to win, so they'll show up for it. So it's going to be a tough road trip for State. But I think, you look at the way State played at home against Tennessee, the way they started the game on the road against A&M, it absolutely is a Florida team they can play with, for sure. The other thing that I wonder is, is it a game where, Florida goes in and says, okay, everybody has tried to be balanced against State's defense. And by virtue of that, State's defense has actually been pretty doggone good. It's a good they've been a good third down defense. They were even good on third downs for a while against A&M until they wore out because the offense couldn't stay out there. And we're just going to run the ball. QB like Lagway and, it's kind of what they do up front. Florida may just say, well, we're just going to run the ball. And it may be a different kind of challenge for State on the road. Anyway, that's kind of how I see it. I think Florida should win the game just because it's there. I think if you were playing it, even with where the teams are right now, I think if you were playing this one in Starkville, you'd pick State. I really do. But I think because it's in Gainesville, you probably pick Florida. But, look, I'm telling you, you keep shaping up, keep him clean, cause one, certainly two, maybe even one turnover there defensively, you may have a chance to win that game. It might shock and surprise everybody. You just never know. Here on the live stream, G Bama Boy, he commented, he said, I think Arch is getting better and he's going to be good next year. Listen, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, I saw a little bit of not all of it, but parts of that Oklahoma-Texas game this weekend, and I feel the same way. I feel like he's getting better. The game was weird because Oklahoma just couldn't do it offensively. They can tell me all they want about how Mateer was fine, and it just didn't look – the whole thing was off. Oklahoma didn't do some of the same things they normally do offensively, and I think it's because he's banged up. They tried their best. I mean, the kid throws 3 interceptions in the ballgame. Meanwhile, Manning goes 21 of 27. Didn't take a ton of chances with the ball. Did make a couple of plays. Like I mentioned, coming off of his goal line and provided a little bit in the run game. Had that one big long run. I just think he is getting better. Like I said, he's young, and the ability's there. Could absolutely see it being just here we go, G Bama Boy. Another one of these things where first time through it early on, the league and their coaches, they jump on your back. And then as you play through it, you come out of it okay. And wind up being pretty good. I think the ability is there. Sure. All right, listen, y'all, I appreciate you being here today on this Monday. Thanks for giving me some time off. It's fall break for us as a family. Mary Lydia's out of school, so we're going to spend some time together this week, and I'll be out, and then the weekend we'll head to Gainesville and come back next week and pick it up, and everything will be kind of back to normal then. So thanks for being here today. We'll see you in a week from now. I'm Matt for Beaver. All of us here. We'll see you then. See you.